Forget what you think you know about the Milwaukee Bucks point guard situation. While the mainstream media is scrambling for answers, true Bucks fans saw something special unfold last season: the emergence of Kevin Porter Jr. He wasn't just good, he was revelational.
Now for Coach Brian Keefe's squad. Here comes Porter. Oh, look at that move! Sailing to the rim. Porter sends it down.
And I'm here to tell you, he's not just a candidate for the starting point guard role. He's the lead candidate. In fact, the Bucks brass might already have him penciled in. Now, let's address the elephant in the room. Because if you've only been watching the NBA for the past few months, you might look at Bucks executive John Horst and think he has no clue what he's doing. But let's not forget, this is the same John Horst that led the Bucks to their first NBA championship in 50 years in 2021. Actually, since John Horst took over the Bucks executive 8 years ago, the team hasn't missed the playoffs. So let's give the guy some credit. However, even the best GMs make mistakes. And there's no denying that Horst put the franchise at a major disadvantage with the brutal Damian Lillard trade that sent Jrue Holiday and the remaining draft capital out of town. But Horst wasn't the first respected executive to make such a high-stakes deal with mixed results. And crucially, others have remedied similar disasters. For instance, in 2017, Danny Ainge made a massive trade with the Cleveland Cavaliers to acquire Kyrie Irving. The Celtics were coming off a 53-win season, first in the Eastern Conference, and had just gone to the conference finals. In order to acquire Kyrie, Ainge had to trade Isaiah Thomas, a fan favorite who just scored 29 points per game and finished 5th in MVP voting. A 26-year-old Jay Crowder, considered one of the elite 3-and-D wings in the league at the time, as well as a first-round pick to Cleveland. It was a massive franchise-altering move, and it didn't work out. For whatever reason, Kyrie just didn't seem to mesh in Boston. The team was solid with him on the roster, but they actually played better when he was out with injury. Eventually, Kyrie left for Brooklyn as a free agent, leaving Boston with nothing to show for all the assets they traded for him. Similarly, Milwaukee with Lillard. But once Kyrie left, Boston was able to form a new identity and eventually in 2024 win the title. So the question becomes, can John Horst pull a Danny Ainge? Can he navigate his setback and find the championship formula again? There's definitely reason to believe he might. Just like Kyrie in Boston, Lillard never just fit the way the Bucks hoped he would when they traded for him. Last season, Milwaukee won 55% of their games when Lillard was in the lineup. But when he was out with injury, they went 16-8, winning a percentage of 66.7%. Damian Lillard is undoubtedly one of the most talented offensive weapons in the world. But defensively, he became a glaring kink in the Bucks' armor. In retrospect, they were far better off when Jrue Holiday was defending the perimeter like a hound at the point.
But if he's not making shots, you've got to go small.
Young's trying to draw the foul right there. No call. Holiday lays it in.
But late in the season, something changed. And that something was the acquisition of Kevin Porter Jr. from the Clippers at the trade deadline. Nowadays, it's rare to see undersized one-dimensional point guards on the floor for contending teams. And frankly, that's what Damian Lillard became for the Bucks defensively. In this modern era, teams need guys that can defend at every position, especially at the point of attack. At 6'4" and loaded with athleticism, Kevin Porter Jr. looks like he might be able to become that guy for the Bucks. After Porter joined the Bucks, he immediately became their most effective player at fighting through screens. He held his opponents at 32.4 three-point percentage above the break, the best on the entire team. Conversely, Lillard and Middleton, the team's two worst players in that category, won't be on the roster heading into next season. Amongst players on Milwaukee that played at least 30 games, Porter led the team with 3.1 steals per 100 possessions and ranked second only to Giannis in defensive box plus-minus. It's no surprise that Milwaukee's performance took a noticeable turn for the better down the stretch with Porter on the roster. With Porter in the lineup, the Bucks went 19-11, but that doesn't tell the whole story. In games when the Bucks had Porter active and Lillard was inactive, the Bucks had an incredible 11-4 record, a blistering 73.3% winning percentage. And in the 7 games that Porter played, at least 24 minutes, the Bucks went 6-1. The more games Porter suited up for, the more minutes he earned from Doc Rivers. His best stretch of games were his final 5 of the regular season when Lillard was inactive with an injury. In those 5 games, from April 5th to April 11th, KPJ averaged 30 minutes per game, scoring over 20 points, 6 assists, 6 rebounds, and nearly 3 steals per game. He did so while shooting 50% from the field and 45% from 3, and even shot 81% on nearly 7 free throw attempts per game. Like I said earlier, Kevin Porter Jr. was a revelation. In those games, the Bucks went 5-0. While it's unlikely that Porter can replicate numbers like those over a full season, it wouldn't be impossible for him to come close, at least in the counting stats. Throughout his young career, Porter has averaged over 18 points, 6 assists, and 5 rebounds per 36 minutes of play. Much of his success coming with struggling Rockets teams after they traded away James Harden.
Steps right, lets it go. Yeah, 25. Kevin Porter Jr. making his first three. It's been forever since they've hit one of those. Oh, look at that. Look at that, Kevin Porter Jr. You've got to be kidding me.
Still, Porter's 19 points, 5 assists, and 5 rebounds he averaged as a 22-year-old in 2022-23 is nothing to scoff at. While his efficiencies were nowhere near where they were at this past season, they were still very impressive for a young guard. Before his domestic violence charges took him away from the NBA for a season, Porter was on a great trajectory, posting an effective field goal percentage of .522 and a three-point percentage of .336 in his last full season. Still, those efficiency stats pale in comparison to the remarkable stretch he finished his past season with. Porter's game is undeniably ball dominant.
Blocking shots, getting in passing lanes, reading some of those passes and getting steals, and he can't be quite as aggressive if he gets in foul trouble.
Kevin Porter Jr. Potty bucket in one.
Which for a Milwaukee team often desperate for playmaking outside of Giannis is actually incredibly fortunate. KPJ was most effective operating out of the pick and roll for the Bucks last year, and his dominance in that area was truly surprising.
7-point Heat lead just underway here in the fourth. Porter Jr. lobbing for the Antetokounmpo slam. Benches on their feet. 3 on the shot clock. Porter Jr. Oh, what a shot by Kevin Porter Jr.
For instance, Damian Lillard, considered one of the best pick-and-roll scorers ever, finished tied for 3rd in the league last season with 1.07 points per possession as the ball handler in pick-and-rolls. During his time with the Bucks, Kevin Porter Jr. scored 1.06 points per possession as the ball handler in pick-and-rolls, practically on par. And to put it into perspective, just how good KPJ was as a pick-and-roll ball handler and how much upside he might have, we made this chart. Last year, there were 15 players in the league that scored at least 1 point per possession as pick-and-roll ball handlers. These aren't necessarily pure playmakers, but the best bucket getters. The higher up the player is on the chart vertically, the more possessions they operated in the pick and roll. As you can see, Porter at the very bottom of your screen had the least possessions last season of all our qualifiers. However, the further the player is to the right, the higher their effective field goal percentage was when operating. KPJ scored 3rd of all qualifying players in this stat behind only De'Aaron Fox in San Antonio and Tyrese Halliburton. Whether or not Porter can maintain his dominance with double as many possessions remains to be seen. But what seems to be clear is that he absolutely deserves more opportunity to prove himself as a lead guard this upcoming season. Porter was fantastic last season at finding his own shots. He shot over 50% on pull-ups and nearly 44% on pull-up threes with the Bucks. KPJ was also able to find plenty of space in between, scoring nearly 2 mid-range shots per game at a team-leading 56% accuracy. And while his attempts were infrequent in catch and shoots, he was accurate in his opportunities, shooting over 40%, a skill that is a must for any guard that wants to play alongside Giannis. While Porter showed flashes of playmaking ability, that's an area he'll undoubtedly need to refine to truly cement his role as a starting point guard in the NBA. Similarly, improving his ball security will be key, but he could very well be on his way. John Horst may have found the gem that saves Milwaukee, and my impression is that Bucks fans are almost expecting Kevin Porter Jr. to break out this season. But I'd love to hear more about what your expectations are in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe to Sports Insight.